I'm Andrew Flynn. I'm the Regional Executive Editor for CSO Online. I'm really happy today to be speaking to Tonga Pichiapan, who is the Chief Digital Officer for iLink Digital. Hello, welcome.
Hello, Andrew. Nice to see you, and thanks for having me today.
Today, we want to talk about this concept of resilience, resiliency, however you want to say it. These are words that are thrown around much in the cybersecurity community, especially in the context of being prepared for threats. More specifically, how to bounce back from threats. And I was wondering if you could help explain it a little more than that, because that's a pretty big catch-all. Threats are escalating. AI use is rising fast. What are we talking about when we talk about resilience?
Yeah, you're spot on, Andrew. So overall, when we talk about resilience in the context of cybersecurity, especially concerning the AI risks, right, that's all evolving, and it is on a much more faster pace now than before a couple of years back. So we definitely need to define this properly. As an example, so taking a quick and effective action to deal with an ID security incident, right? It is a concept that integrates business continuity, information system security, and also organizational resilience. So the basic aim is to help all the organization to prevent cyber risks by reducing the impact of attacks and also ensuring the business continuity despite if there is an attack. Right, so there are certain frameworks that we follow. How do we create the cyber resilience itself, right? For example, conducting a thorough risk analysis, building a cybersecurity management framework, right? So we need to have developed some plans for responding to events and incidents, right? Like, for example, tabletop exercise. What is your incident management plans looks like? Have we evaluated, have we improved our security measures if you're doing an audit year on year or at least twice a year, right? Do we have have we enforced any robust authentication policies? Do we have a proper data backup and recovery procedures, business continuity plan? Like, for example, data backup, like 3-to-1 backup policies and disaster recovery solution. So NIST also defined the resiliency for cybersecurity, specifically with the goal of anticipating, withstanding the cybersecurity, and then recovering in terms of business continuity and adaptability. So those are some of the points someone definitely needs to think through when we are defining the resilience for the context of cybersecurity.
So we're talking about planning a lot. Essentially, being resilient is having a plan in place. And I've heard a lot of people say it's not if you're going to be attacked, it's when you're going to be attacked, and we've seen that in the rising statistics. I'm wondering, do you have an example off the top of your head of a real life incident where someone has proved their resilience by recovering quickly from an attack or recovering better than they otherwise would?
100%. Yeah. So we deal with these kind of attacks and recovery at least once in a month, right? So after the fact, few new clients contacts us, this is what happened. Specifically, the real-time example I want to call out here on the ransomware and also on the email phishing, right? So we have helped clients recovering from ransomware, especially the client having a backup in isolated network, right? So one of my clients based out of West Coast, so the hacker was into his environment for almost like 6 to 8 months, waiting for the right time. He was already having access, and then he was encrypting some of the data. So after 8 months is what this client realized some of the important files got encrypted, and then it was all ransomware. This is one example. So wherein we went in and then stopped the spread. We did a thorough analysis and then reset the password of a specific account that got compromised. And even when we reset this account, so still the user was able to impact it. The hacker was still able to do an encryption because the Active Directory golden ticket was stolen, right? So as long as we are not able to reset the Active Directory golden ticket, the hacker was still able to continuously encrypt the files even though we reset the password. So we did a thorough analysis, and then we followed protocols to reset golden ticket, and we stopped the hacking on ransomware. And we also helped this client to recover the data from backup. Few of the systems we had to rebuild, so it took some time during the weekend, and then we are successfully able to bring the business back to board on the technology front. This is one example. Another example, this happened recently last month. One of my other client got a phishing email. It was looking like a very legitimate email coming from his vendor for a payment with an invoice, and then he started doing the payment processing. Then during that stage, so one of our tool captured this guy is coming from an malicious IP, and then we stopped the thread. And then even like there was some kind of potential impact happen, but we were able to do it, recover the business, the email, set some security policies, controls, put some controls in place, and finally is good. So those are the two real-time examples I can think about immediately. Overall, the hackers are now targeting to impact the backup data, because we will only back up the important critical data, right? So if he gets access to that backup data, and then he do those attacks for those backup data, then the company is screwed up. So implementing a SIM solution and then doing an automatic threat detection, automatic remediation with playbooks, right? Somebody has no need to be like a coder or a software developer writing scripts, techniques, those things like that. But recently, using AI, a lot of new techniques have come up. We can just drag and drop, easy to configure. We can easily create those playbooks. And mainly we want to see to realize if it is a false positive and true positive, and to do threat hunting. So those are some of the real-time examples that I can think about when it comes to significant cyber threat and how we prevented it.
You are what is known as an ethical hacker. Does that help you prepare companies for, to create a response for things like the attacks that you described? Does it help? In other words, does it help having a little bit of inside knowledge about how the attackers are operating?
100%, right? So for us to stop these attacks, or for us to deal with after the fact, if something got impacted, I need to be an ethical hacker, right? I need to think from the hacker's perspective how this attack might have happened, or what are the things hacker is thinking to implement in the near future, right? So, and whenever we do testing like penetration testing, external penetration testing, we do ethical hacking like a hacker to see what are the different potential vulnerabilities and open threats this particular organization has. So the hacker is also starting those protocols similarly. So for us, being an ethical hacker definitely helps to think from the hacker's perspective and to do all things like hacker, but ethically, to stop and then remediate and also give recommendations to organizations. For example, information security threats and vulnerabilities, password cracking techniques, right? Social engineering techniques, network level attacks, web application attacks, wireless attacks, mobile attacks, IoT, cloud computing threats, so on and so forth, which are part of the ethical hacking, is what the hacker is also trying to get compromised into the environment.
So in other words, if I want to test the limits of how prepared I am, I would want to engage someone who can literally test those limits by trying to hack my systems.
Absolutely. So it doesn't take much time to create pages like Facebook or Google or Yahoo, right? So it takes like at least minimum 10 minutes on an average. And then they can create a link, which is a malicious link. When the user clicks on this link, it will look like your Facebook or Google page, but behind the scene, the hacker is watching what you're doing, because he copied all the data from those websites and then he created on his own. So it is so as easy as this to create these sites within like a matter of 10 minutes.
I don't think anybody's under any illusions that the threat landscape isn't treacherous and growing fast. For companies out there that are watching, how do you know that you're not resilient? What are the signs that you're not prepared? That as much as you've done mitigating the chance of an attack, how do you know that you're not prepared if one is going to happen? How do you know you're not resilient?
Yeah, so those are some of the common warning signs that the technical or the security leaders should be aware of what are the different potential vulnerabilities within their organization. For example, if I want to call a few examples, user behavior patterns, right? Let's say user X opens 20 files per day, 20 Excels per day, and suddenly he sees user X opening like 200,000 files, right? That's a user behavior pattern that we are talking about, right? Then there is definitely something wrong. That's a warning to the security leader to see exactly what's going on. Same wise, like unusual network activity, like in terms of if he's seeing a high utilization on bandwidth and network utilization, those kind of things is also early warning signal. Unauthorized access, and then unexplained data modification, right? Same example, if I pick the user X, so he is modifying and changing like 20 files per day, but we are seeing a lot of files getting modified within like, let's say like 10 minutes or even like a minute's time, right? So why this data is getting modified unexplainedly and also within a faster phase? So maybe it's a ransomware, maybe it's an encryption happening, right? So then we create a lot of playbooks, like I said, which will detect if there is a lot of data modification happening on a specific target, then we are going to block the access, and then we are going to notify the security admins. That's one of the data modification that I'm talking about. And also increased phishing attempts. If we see performance issues in applications, databases, any data sources for that matter, performance issues, then definitely that is a warning sign. And then cybersecurity incidents like frequently happening. If we have an insufficient network security, inadequate endpoint security, and the main thing I definitely want to call here is the lack of employee training and awareness, right? So we always talk about and we all implement, we spend a lot of time on detecting and fixing vulnerabilities, patching and all those stuff. But lack of employee training and awareness is the most critical thing, I would say, for the cybersecurity leaders to ensure we do that, so that like most of the cyber attacks can be stopped there itself. And then one more scenario like excessive downloads and then anomalies of employees' behavior. Those are the clear warning signs of insider threat that somebody has to definitely take a look on. And also having a key risk indicator metrics will help organization level to reduce the risk level and also to do track on the evaluation of the risk profiles. I hope that was helpful.
Absolutely. And no, I think we're all worried about social engineering, phishing. It's such a huge component of what we need to be prepared for. I'm also wondering, okay, so we know this is going to happen. We know employees aren't perfect. And, you know, aside from lots of training, you can be as prepared as you want, but these things are going to still happen. So how should I be investing if I'm a technology leader, if I'm a security leader? You know, I know there's lots of generative AI properties coming on the market from many, many vendors. Should I be putting money into, should I be investing in this cutting edge AI technology, or should I be investing in staff? You know, we know there are staffing issues out there. Just so that I'm ready that once one of these attacks does happen, that I can bounce back better. In other words, do I need more technology, more people? What is it I need to have that resilience?
Yeah, that's a really critical and complicated question. So overall, two parts, right? Investing in cutting edge technologies, that is really important. And also staffing, we have adequate staffing. That is the second thing, which we always have a challenge. Because right now, according to the industry, we are running on negative minus when it comes to the talent and SMEs, the subject matter experts on the security side, when opposed to the number of threats and number of events happening across the globe. So to answer the first one, the investment, of course, as business continues to innovate and embrace new technologies, balancing between the security, critical information, and balancing between the innovation, that is equally important, right? Because cyber attacks are happening every 40 seconds, unfortunately. And then if we want to keep up to the speed in stopping those, detecting those, remediating those, investment is definitely a must for us to do that. So let's say even talk about doing a security audit, evaluating the current security score, implementing a risk framework audit or risk values, defining the risk criteria, risk mitigations, and then the risk acceptance, right? So all of these things definitely need some kind of investment. doing a tabletop exercise, allocating the budget, and then keeping some investment wisely for the tools and technologies for the cybersecurity is really important. And when it comes to the skill set, right? So we also need to do some kind of staff augmentation in order to get the SMEs quick, right? So staff augmenting with skilled professionals offers this organization a strategic approach to bridge the skill gap. And this will also help to unlock the potential of cybersecurity initiatives. So understanding the cybersecurity needs, defining the cybersecurity role for each of the team members, identify good candidates within the team, offer them training, and then give them a certification goal, certification opportunity. So creating security labs, doing research, documenting the solution, what they're finding, and then participating in competitions like hackathon, ideathon. So those things will definitely help in improving the cybersecurity skills. On top of it, offering competitive compensation, right? Good compensation to help retain the top talents on the cybersecurity team. So those are some of the points I can think about when it comes to the talents and also the investment for the cybersecurity.
So what we're talking about a lot here is the more, it sounds like what you're saying is the more prepared you are for any kind of attack, the more resilient you are, because you're going to stop more of the attack. You're going to mitigate more of the vulnerabilities. You're going to get ahead of the curve by being prepared so that when it does happen, when you do get hacked, when your data is accessed, the consequences are less when you've got that preparation in place.
Yeah. So the consequences are less. So it has to be like 100%. Yeah, you're right. So some preparation and also accepting the risk, what they have, what they don't have. At least they have to know what is there in the system and what are the different types of risk. So overall, we talk about like anticipating, right? Organization need to anticipate many types, including, let's say, adversity, including withstanding, and then recovery of the data and the adaptability of the technologies is what we normally talk about. So the key considerations also definitely matters when it comes to the CISOs and security leaders. What are the different topics and agenda and goals for a specific year on the cybersecurity side?
So what you're saying essentially is that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, that old theme. I also wanted to ask you, talk about CISOs and other cybersecurity leaders. Cybersecurity is a very secretive game, and for good reason. You know, we don't want to share information that gets out there the bad actors can use against us. But how important do you think it is for security leaders to collaborate, to share their experience, to share lessons learned when they do get attacked? You know, to share those best practices. How important is that?
It's very, very important for the collaboration among the organizational leaders and among different organizations, specifically organizations like CISA. So they are also releasing a lot of news and keeping an eye watch in the industry. Overall, organization often they focus on technical aspects and advanced tools, and then sometimes they forget about the vital role of relationship, right? Like you said, the vital role of doing a collaboration between organizations, between different teams within the organization. So this collaboration and communication is really important for achieving effective cybersecurity and the resilience. And we are also seeing successful operation involving like honest and clear communication during an incident. That's really important. Inclusive of choices and readiness to welcome new ideas and diverse news, right? For automation using AI, using, let's say, Copilot. So those are some of the latest tools that's coming up in the market, and it's always evolving. AI was always there, but now it is like on boom, right? So by eliminating some barriers and forecasting, doing some kind of cooperation, organizations can leverage the wisdom of different teams to learn from each other. And then there are a lot of forums and articles, white papers. There are a few demos also available in few websites. So things like that, they should definitely collaborate, give more inputs, right? Reply to the website white papers and blogs. Through those kind of collaboration, we can definitely learn and reduce overall cyber attacks. We can also do like a thorough risk assessment. We can do like a stronger incident response capabilities, and we should be able to take like better decisions when it comes to the overall cybersecurity landscape, part of the collaboration.
So then you are having conversations with your peers about to better protect everyone.
100%, 100%. So I'm also contributing to a lot of blogs, replying, and then voice the same, like I ask questions to them and then get responses. Learning from each other is the key point.
So if you have one piece of advice for a security or IT leader who's realizing they're not prepared to bounce back as well as they could be, if you could tell them where to start, where do you begin this process of becoming a resilient organization that is prepared for and prepared to bounce back from attacks?
Yeah, sounds good, Andrew. So I would definitely advise based on the AI trend going on today, because cyber attacks are powered by AI and they are transforming the landscape a lot, right? So having a very good culture that prioritizes security awareness and flexibility, motivating the employees to keep up to the cybersecurity best practices and recommendations. Let's say malware attack and cyber threats like phishing attacks, ransomware, so on and so forth. So keeping the culture itself and keeping the security awareness, that is the most important advice I would definitely say. Basically, train all the employees and make sure we have a standard process, right? We have a guide, and also that will all lower the frequency of the incidents across the board, right? So creating that culture of improved security framework is really important, I would say. And the leaders will help their organization fulfill its purpose by keeping the cyber threats under the control. So even if they're not aiming like 100%, so they have to follow this culture, keep those things in recommended way, follow those framework. So promoting a culture for cybersecurity is really important, and that will make a stronger decision whenever it comes to the cybersecurity world.
So it's not a matter of going out and spending a ton of money on new equipment, on new software. It's more about fostering a cultural change within your organization.
Yes, you called that exactly right. So foster a culture that prioritizes the security awareness and flexibility. Yeah.
Other advice do you have for more experienced CISOs and CSOs and security leaders? What should they be thinking about? What are the unexpected threats that we're going to be facing in the future when it comes to building a really solid foundation that is resilient?
Yeah, so absolutely. So when it comes to little bit extensive ideas, definitely zero trust policy is on the top of my list, right? So doing a zero trust policies and making sure we have zero trust controls, which means this data, we are not going to trust anyone to give access, right? Unless it is absolutely necessary, we are going to give access, and we are not going to trust anyone, zero trust. So that is the key that's going to come in future. It's already there, but it's going to expand in future a bit more. And then stop and watch and then react to cyber threats, right? And definitely I would suggest a strong disaster recovery to be on safer side. It's just not for the cyber attacks, but even if a primary site is down or due to some natural calamities, this disaster recovery plan will help. And then overall establish and maintain a good cyber hygiene, right? So that will help to secure all the assets throughout the organization. So those are some of my other advice to the cyber resilience leaders.
Excellent. Thank you, Tanga. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Andrew. Nice talking to you today as well. Thanks a lot.
Take care.